Our channel is 100% dedicated to stories like this, bringing you valuable information that the mainstream media hides from you. Please, so you don't miss videos like this, subscribe to the channel and give us your like. It helps our work a lot. Every story told about the JFK assassination begins with a chilling moment in history. It was November 22, 1963, Dallas, Texas. The sun was shining. The mood was hopeful, and President John F. Kennedy traveled through Dealey Plaza in an open-top limousine. Optimism, excitement, and promise filled the air, but within seconds, gunfire shattered everything, echoing through America's collective memory and leaving questions that burn even brighter today than they did over 60 years ago. Tonight I want to take you through the maze of secrets and suspicions that swirl around this tragic day. I want you to see with your own eyes and feel the sense of mystery and portrayal that still lingers in Dealey Plazas, especially around the famed Grassy Knoll. Is it possible, as so many believe, that what happened in Dallas was not the act of a lone assassin, but the carefully orchestrated result of a wider conspiracy? Was the fatal shot fired not from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, but from the shadows at the top of that silent green hill? The motorcade route had been published for days in advance, something that today sounds almost unthinkable from a security point of view. Crowds lined the streets as Kennedy's car moved slowly down Jean Hill. A witness at Dealey Plaza would later say she saw a puff of smoke rise from behind the picket fence on the Grassy Knoll at the very moment the shots rang out. She was far from alone. Dozens of witnesses in Dealey Plaza that day remembered hearing or seeing something suspicious at the knoll. Instantly after the shots, many in the crowd ran toward it, convinced the source of horror was not the tall building behind them, but something closer, hidden among the shadows, trees, and the mysterious picket fence that crowned the knoll. In the official report known as the Warren Commission, which published its findings in September 1964, America was told that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. According to the report, he fired 3 shots from the southeast corner window of the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, ending the president's life and injuring Texas Governor John Connally. Case closed. Or was it? From the very beginning, the official story left an uneasy feeling in the American psyche. Veterans, police officers, and even bystanders insisted that the cracks of gunfire did not sound like they were all coming from one direction. Some described bullets that seemed to zing past Kennedy and Connally from in front matching the line of sight from the Grassy Knoll and the infamous fence. Others described a figure or figures behind the fence, moving quickly and suspiciously, just as chaos exploded all around. The Grassy Knoll itself became a cipher for secrets, lies, and the deep suspicion that we had not been told everything. Reporters, obsessed with the most famous crime scene in America, began to dig. The first major dissent from the official record came from Mark Lane's article Defense Brief for Oswald, just weeks after the assassination, quickly followed by Thomas Buchanan's groundbreaking 1964 book, Who Killed Kennedy? These writers gathered mountains of testimony suggesting a shooter at the knoll, and their boldness opened the floodgates for decades of investigation. No matter how much time passes, the evidence for a conspiracy around the Grassy Knoll refuses to die. The famed Zapruder film, 26.6 seconds captured on a home movie camera, shocked the world when it was made public. In gruesome frame after frame, Kennedy's head appears to snap backward, seemingly inconsistent with a shot from behind. There are analysts who have spent their lives dissecting this film, claiming it holds the key to proving a shooter at the Grassy Knoll, just yards in front and to the right of the motorcade. Witnesses such as S.M. Holland, who had watched from the Triple Underpass, swore under oath in 1964 that they saw a puff of white smoke drift up behind the fence and heard a shot that sounded different, deeper, more forceful than those attributed to Oswald's rifle. Holland wasn't alone. At least 20 other witnesses reported seeing or hearing evidence of a shooter at the knoll. Many of them described people fleeing, men with radios, men in suits, men who vanished before police swarmed the area. Why, then, did the official story persist? Many believe America could not afford to consider that its young, charismatic president could be gunned down in a public square as part of a conspiracy. The idea of a plot threatened to unravel the very fabric of trust that held the country together during the tense years of the Cold War. Yet the questions would not die. Jack Ruby, the Dallas nightclub owner with shadowy underworld connections, murdered Lee Harvey Oswald in broad daylight. Before he could face trial or give any real testimony, was Ruby just a distraught patriot, or part of a meticulously planned cover-up? He admitted to reporters from the Dallas Morning News that there was more to the story and that the world will never know the true facts. As years passed, new evidence surfaced and faded, but each piece added to the puzzle. Newly released police radio recordings seemed to capture more shots than three. A House Select Committee on Assassinations, convened in the late 1970s, stunned the world when it concluded Kennedy was probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy. Yet the precise details, how many shooters, who they were, whom they worked for, remained locked away in shadowy government files, many of which are still secret even in 2025. No conspiracy theory has captured the imagination more than the idea that the Grassy Knoll was the true vantage point for the fatal shot. Envision for a moment a man behind the fence, hidden in the low brush and shadow cast by the ancient oak trees, setting up a perfect sightline as the motorcade moves slowly through the kill zone. Eyewitnesses saw sudden movement, flash, and smoke, then, moments later, absolute stillness, as if the shooter had vanished into thin air. In the years after Kennedy's death, photographs would emerge, suggesting the presence of additional figures behind the fence. Some see the enigmatic badge man, a law enforcement figure possibly holding a rifle, immortalized in a few blurred frames of Mary Mormon's Polaroid. Others see the railroad tramps, suspicious men arrested and whisked away for questioning, only to disappear from the records and public memory. Let's consider the evidence that places a shooter on the knoll. The positioning is ideal, close, with a clear shot, and multiple escape routes disappearing into the railroad yards behind. The fence itself offers excellent concealment. Secret Service agents and Dallas police rushed to the area but failed to find anyone or any rifle, but some officers, including Seymour Weitzman, reported discovering fresh footprints, muddy cigarette butts, and even muddy footprints on the bumper of a car right by the fence. The Warren Commission rejected these clues as coincidental or irrelevant, while the already traumatized American public began finding more and more holes in the official account. What about the trajectory of the shots? The infamous single bullet theory. Could one bullet have truly caused all the damage attributed to it, or was it an ingenious way to make the evidence fit a conclusion already decided? As the decades rolled on, journalists, private investigators, and filmmakers kept chasing the story. Oliver Stone's 1991 movie JFK reignited interest, bringing new attention to the complexities and uncertainties shrouding the case. Secret government files began to be released, but just enough to tantalize. Never enough to prove or disprove the deepest suspicions. But what if the Grassy Knoll shooter was not acting alone? Was he one part of a highly coordinated operation involving criminal organizations, rogue intelligence operatives, anti-Castro Cubans, or even elements within the U.S. government unhappy with Kennedy's plans to de-escalate Vietnam, dismantle the CIA, and fight organized crime? Each new investigation rekindled these suspicions, but always seemed to stop short of true accountability. Witnesses who came forward with their accounts of gunfire from the knoll frequently found themselves targets of intimidation, career ruin, or worse. Some, like journalist Dorothy Kilgallen, died in mysterious circumstances soon after uncovering new information. Others simply vanished from public view, their stories whispered in the shadows and left to fade from official accounts. What about the Umbrella Man, a mysterious figure opening and spinning a black umbrella on a clear, sunny day near the kill zone? Photos show him standing right where Kennedy was hit, signaling or communicating in time with the gunfire. Decades later, a man came forward claiming to be the Umbrella Man, explaining his motives as protest, but doubts linger. Could the umbrella have served as a signal, a trigger, or even as a stealth weapon firing a paralyzing dart? Is it possible the true story is even darker, an alliance of powerful North American and international actors using the Grassy Knoll as one of several kill points to guarantee success? Dozens of researchers and declassified documents have pointed to the role of organized crime, the CIA, and anti-Castro militants in both plotting and covering up the murder. E. Howard Hunt, a CIA veteran who was involved in America's darkest covert operations, allegedly confessed on his deathbed to his involvement in the big event. Yet no single account ever ties all the loose ends together. Let's step back and ask, would it have even been possible for a shooter to operate from the Grassy Knoll and escape unnoticed? After all, photographs and films taken seconds after the shooting show chaos. With people running toward the fence, a group of uniformed officers searching the area, and yet, no shooter found. However, the railroad yards and a nearby parking lot provided dozens of escape routes. Some believe a fake Secret Service badge was flashed to police, allowing the shooter to disappear in plain sight. What would be the motive for such a vast, carefully orchestrated conspiracy? Kennedy's presidency threatened many entrenched interests. His refusal to escalate war in Vietnam would have cost powerful defense contractors billions. His campaign against the mafia and public support for civil rights drew enemies among criminal syndicates and hardline segregationists. And his pledge to shatter the CIA into 1,000 pieces after the failed Bay of Pigs invasion may have been seen as a declaration of war by shadowy elements within the intelligence community. The aftermath of the assassination was marked by more suspicious deaths. Witnesses, investigators, and journalists, who might have known too much, met violent ends in the years and even months that followed. Meanwhile, the most vital evidence, the president's brain, key photographs, ballistics reports, mysteriously disappeared from government custody, never to be recovered. What can we make of all these threads? For every tantalizing clue, there's a counter-argument, a counter-witness, or a simple refusal to investigate further. Do the contradictions and anomalies point to confusion in the heat of crisis, or are they the tracks of a masterfully hidden conspiracy? And is the persistence of doubt itself a clue that no definitive answer ever emerges, because the truth is too dangerous to reveal? There are those who claim that even in death, President Kennedy serves as a warning, a symbol of what happens to those who threaten the deep power structures of America. Those who see the assassination as a coup d'etat, hidden behind the smoke drifting from the Grassy Knoll, believe Kennedy was silenced before he could pull back the curtain on the world's most powerful shadows. I've dug deep into every document I could find, watched every interview, pored over the unredacted files released in recent years, and one thing is clear. There are too many loose ends, too many unanswered questions, and too many lives destroyed for this to simply be the work of a single random gunman. The enduring mystery of the Grassy Knoll is not just about who fired the shot, but about why the structure of secrecy, the so-called deep state, is so determined to keep the truth buried. For decades, the official narrative has been protected by walls of denial. But new generations keep searching, new researchers keep asking, and the legend only grows. Perhaps in the end, the significance of the Grassy Knoll is not that it was or wasn't the literal origin of the fatal round, but that it symbolizes our refusal to accept simple answers. When so much evidence points elsewhere, the very persistence of the theory, the way it haunts the American imagination, tells us that the power to define reality is just as potent as the power to pull a trigger. So, as we stand together in spirit on that gentle rise of grass in Dallas, let's vow never to stop questioning, never to close the book on history's most vital riddles, and never to let the truth fall silent beneath the shadow of the knoll. Our channel is 100% dedicated to stories like this, bringing you valuable information that the mainstream media hides from you. Please, so you don't miss videos like this, subscribe to the channel and give us your like. It helps our work a lot.